Yeah, what is going on, everybody? It is I, yours truly, the Ace, here with another Behind the Team Season 2, Episode 4, Pittsburgh Steelers. I got a good friend on here, Mark from Steelers Nation Australia is in the building, international ace. We're finally going, past the United States. Thank you for popping on, man. How you doing today?
I'm doing very well, thanks, Ace, and I appreciate you putting me on your show. You reached out literally 3 days ago,
Yep.
and I was like, yes, let's go. Let's talk. Let's talk Steelers. Let's talk football. I'm keen, man. I'm dead set, ready to go.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. I know the time difference is, what time is it over there, by the way?
Right now, recording is 9, so I just woke up like half an hour ago. Got a coffee, and I'm just this is the all. I always record my videos in the morning. Because when I go to sleep at nighttime, I miss everything. So all the big
Yeah.
news that happens, I wake up and go, "Holy crap! James Debo Harrison, he's a Patriot." Or Antonio Brown's doing this. I miss everything. Probably seen the sun coming in. I might bring that down
Yeah,
a
I can
minute.
see it.
It's too bad, but yeah, I miss 9 hours of news. I'm 17 hours in front, but 9 hours behind in the NFL.
Got you. So when football games are on, what time is it over there? Like
Okay,
when it's one
here it
o'clock, it's
is.
1 o'clock here. What time is it over there?
Yeah, so 1 o'clock when Steelers versus Falcons. It's 1 o'clock's going to be my 3 a.m. So I'll wake up to watch that. The next one will be the 4 p.m. games. Your afternoon will be my 5 a.m. Then the one after that is your prime time is 10 o'clock. It's my 10 a.m. But it's your 8 p.m. That's the better one for me.
Yeah.
But as the season goes on, every 4 weeks, it's like daylight saving comes into it for me, I think. And then you guys lose daylight savings. So it increases an hour. So about week 7, I think it is, we go to 4 a.m. Then week 9, we go to 5 a.m. But I
Got
still
you.
wake up every single time. The only time I slept in the last 20 years was when I knew that Mitchell Trubisky was going to be starting for the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
And I went home, had a few drinks in the grand final for the rugby league, and I didn't wake up because I couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
And that's when
Okay.
Kenny Pickett came in. Kenny Pickett came in halfway. It's the first game I've missed, I think, in about 15 years.
Got you. So hey, the NFL's got to love how their brand is going international, you know what I'm saying? And
Mm.
on a global scale, that's what they've been trying to do. So, you got fans all over the country. Like I said, I'm glad that you took the time out of your morning because yeah, I could see the lights peering in. So I appreciate you. So the Pittsburgh Steelers 2023 season, you guys went 10-7 with the playoff berth, lost in the wild card round to the Buffalo Bills. Give me your overall thoughts on the 2023 season.
Okay. The season I thought Kenny Pickett was going to do better. I thought
Mm-hmm.
Pickett, I was trying to rally behind him. We hold on to Matt Canada way too long, and he got fired in the Browns game. So he was just an absolute mess. But the whole season was good. Like Mike Tomlin, I know a lot of Steelers fans out there. I'd say about 25% just can't stand Mike Tomlin. They want him gone.
Yeah,
I'm on
Mike
the other
Tomlin.
side.
Mm-hmm.
I love Mike Tomlin. I love what he does for the team. I think he gives us the best chance to win. I will be going to his Hall of Fame speech when he does it in 2050. Depending on how long he goes for.
Mm.
But the season 2023, I was obviously, Super Bowl is what you want to win. But for the squad they had, for the quarterbacks they had too, they played every single one of them. Trubisky started. Kenny Pickett was in there. Mason Rudolph finished because he was a better quarterback near the end of the season. They went to the Bills game. They tried to play it in the snow. Didn't work out. The next day it was clear. And then the Bills won that game. But we made so many errors. George Pickens did fumbles. Rudolph threw the ball into the end zone. They just seem to they can't get that last game in the playoff game. But hopefully this year is a better season for us. But 2023, I was happy with it to a certain extent. We beat our division 5-1. We got into the playoffs. That's always exciting, right? I think in my lifetime for being a fan since 2002, there's only one time I haven't had a chance where the Steelers don't have a chance to go to the playoffs or it's a meaningful game. Same with
Yep.
Mike Tomlin's career.
Yep.
There's not even only one game that we've been playing in week 15 where you're like, oh, we can't make it.
Yeah.
So every single time we've had a chance. So I think it was a good year, but there was some injuries too in the middle of the pack as well. We lost Cole Holcomb. We had to get guys off the street like Miles Jack and Eric Deathrow playing safety as well. TJ Watt being out in the last game, I think, kind of sucks too. So it's a good season, and only one team can win. But overall, when you look back at it now, and the quarterbacks we have now, there's not one quarterback on the roster. Nor do we have the OC with Matt Canada. Matt Canada was a pure failure. And I think that does land on Mike Tomlin. It lands on the organization, but it lands on everybody, not just Mike Tomlin.
Yeah. The one thing I'm gonna say about you guys, it's the same thing like I said about Bill Belichick when he was with the Patriots. You have that cornerstone coach that I feel like no matter what, he's gonna be competitive. He's gonna get the most out of these guys.
Mm.
And at any given time, you might not go on that long playoff run, but like you had said, like you had alluded to, you're gonna get those meaningful playoff games. So Mike Tomlin, even though I do know, like I know a lot of Steelers fans as well, and they're right there with you as far as a lot of them are split with Tomlin. A lot of them either love him or they want him gone, which I would kill. I'm a Giants fan. I'd kill
Mm.
for a coach with the resume of Mike Tomlin. He's a good coach.
Yeah. I've been saying on my channel for like 3 years now. I love, respect him. I think the players love him. I think there are a lot of guys who do like Tom. I think sometimes with the minority can be the loudest in this sense, But
Yeah.
we always have a chance to we always have a chance for the playoffs. And yes, we haven't won one for a while. At the same time, nor have other teams, right?
Yeah. Oh, of
What is it?
course.
12 teams. 12 teams have never been to no, sorry, 12 teams have never won a Super Bowl, and 4 teams have still never been in this era since 1960.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to win.
Yeah.
I think some Steel Nation is really spoiled because like I've got behind me, I've got 6, right? You've got a few. How many do the New York Giants have? 3 or 4?
4.
4, right? And 2 with the Eli Manning days and
Yep.
and the. By the way, I'm so glad you beat the Patriots and stuff them up
Oh.
too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
you guys went on that run. So and it's fun to experience right like that. But my rivals, the Browns, well, they've won championships back in 1950, but the Bengals, they've never won one. There are
Mhm.
fans like me, Bengals Nation Australia, Who Day Nation Australia, who are 34 years like me and never seen one.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's really hard. Like, and honestly, winning football games, the more I think about it, winning football games is tough.
Oh yeah.
You look at other franchises that are going through hard times with, I don't know, was it like the who's one of the really bad ones at the moment?
Jets.
Yeah, Jet. Oh,
The Jets.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was going to say the Jets because they're saying Aaron Rodgers is their savior. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know about that. He's an old bloke throwing a football, maybe. But there are Jags who are getting better, but then
Oh
they
yeah.
went through a lot of hell. It's tough to
Texans
win
too.
football games.
The
So
Texans are in
I'm
that same category.
Texans look really
They're
good
good.
this
Yeah,
year. They,
they do.
by the way, that bloke should have won Coach of the Year last year, D'Amico
Hmm.
Ryans or Lions. But I think for Tomlin, always has his team ready. Always, and I think 2024 is going to be awesome and special because it's a really hard division to win. And you're right. Other coaches, other teams would take him in a heartbeat. For some reason, there's a little minority that says, "Oh, we want someone else," and they can never name anyone else. They can never name anyone else at all.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's just the negativity will shine through at the end of the day. But yeah, you had just said something. Your division is tough. Like
Mhm.
any one of those 4 teams can make the playoffs and go on a good run. The Baltimore Ravens, Joe Burrow, and the Bengals. Even the Browns are ultra competitive at the end of the day too. So yeah, you guys have the toughest division, one of the toughest divisions. And I'm looking at your strength of schedule, which we'll get into a little bit later. You guys got a tough schedule this year too, so it's not going to be easy. But with Mike Tomlin at the helm, like I said, I never count you guys out.
Yeah, and the players back him too. I think that the one thing I kind of get over is, and I've said it a million times on my channel, it's like even if you like him or hate him, the next
Mhm.
4 years he's going to be there. So deal with
Oh
it.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
finally time, Steel Nation out there, to deal with it. Like he's your
Mhm.
coach. You either watch and go, "Oh, cool, he's my coach," or you watch and go, "I don't like him that much, but I'll still deal with it." But you'll still see week one, we'll be losing to the Falcons maybe like 10-0, and you'll see this fire Tomlin. They're not going to fire Tomlin. It's not going to happen, like
Yeah.
at all in the next 4 years. You know what? No, not even 3 years. They just won't do it. Tomlin is their guy. They'll ride with him, and then what will happen is he might go into the background of Pittsburgh and see what happens. But I'm
Yeah.
glad, like I'm happy. Like I was so happy for him, and the players were. Queen comes over to play for him. Russell Wilson, they all want to come and play. TJ Watt said in an interview one time, "I want to run through a wall for Mike Tomlin."
Yeah.
He's a player's coach, and he gets things done. So I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. But like I said, you guys made the playoffs, ended up getting bounced in the first round to Buffalo, which Buffalo's a team that has their problems as well. AFC is tough. You know what I'm saying? The
Mhm.
AFC is a tough conference at the end of the day. So after the season's over, going into the offseason, what did you as a Steelers fan feel like was the biggest needs going in? And did you feel like they addressed it via the draft and via free agency?
It's a good question. I'd probably say O line was up there, right?
Hmm.
O line was definitely up there. We got the right tackle, Troy Falatanu. Center as well was up there, Zach Frazier. We got him in the draft. But Omar Khan and Andy Weidel, he's the other guy like the assistant. He used to be, I think he was with the Eagles. They're building through the trenches. They're going through their line first. They got Broderick Jones 2 years ago, left tackle. He'll be playing there. And then Troy Falatanu, I think, will be fighting reps with Dan Moore. Dan Moore's okay. He's not the best bloke out there, but he's okay. He's serviceable. I'm not against him. And so I think that they've been building up through the trenches like that. And now they've got the new OC with Arthur Smith, who can hopefully some Steelers fans out there will say, "Oh, he was a bad head coach," or some people say he was a bad head coach with the Falcons. But at the same time, he was really, really good with the Tennessee Titans. And he's pulled over a lot of players from the Falcons. Pruitt, the tight end, who have a chance. You'll have Van Jefferson, Scotty Miller. These guys aren't the greatest characters on the team, but they're team guys, and we'll see what happens. But I'd say, to answer your question, one of the weak links was the O line getting better. Middle linebacker as well. We picked up in the free agency period too. That's pretty key for Queen to come over, and they're also getting Peyton Wilson because he fell that far. And I'm not a college guy, but I think he has no ACL in college days, but he played 2 years without it. And all the reporters, they always keep saying, "Oh, he hasn't got an ACL, he can't play." But he played 2 years without an ACL. So, and Hines Ward didn't have an ACL for his entire career. So we grab these, as fans, we grab these little things and we hold on to them and we try and make them talking points like, "Oh, he can't play." But the bloke can run, he can hit. So I'd probably say middle linebacker, O-line. I think corner will get better. JPJ going his second year will be fantastic. So, of course, we've got holes. There's a narrative right now. We haven't got a receiver too because we traded away Deontay Johnson. But I think they're going to play differently, use more tight ends as well than just receiver two.
Yeah. I'm agreeing with you as far as offensive line, because you can see that they, it was a key point in this draft. You guys drafted 3 offensive linemen. Now, the first and the second round pick can definitely be impact players. The third one, in the 4th round, that's more of like a depth type piece. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe add some, give some guys a chance to get a little time off. But yeah, offensive line is definitely something that you guys invested heavily into. As far as you talk about a receiver, I like George Pickens. I say Pickens because you got Pickett and Pinkins. I always like
it was hard last year.
Yeah, it is.
Pickett,
but obviously
Pickett to Pickens last year was just incredible to say. Pickett to Pickens,
exactly.
Yeah,
but you're not going to have that this year because now you got Russell Wilson.
Yeah, so. I know. I could not believe that, dude. That I still can't believe that actually happened. That Omar Khan's got, and yes, he's got his problems too. And I think that he can get he's got to bounce back from his stuff in Denver. But I can't believe the Steelers, like, as a player sense, if you told me last year, you did this interview last year, and you said to me, "Oh, do you think that Russell Wilson and Justin Fields will be on team in 2024?" I'd say, "No way. There's no way." And here we are.
And then you went ahead and made a trade for Justin Fields.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's a difficult situation though, because like Justin Fields is on the last year of his contract. So it's like, how much playing time is he really going to get? Because it's kind of an evaluation of him, but you don't really have time to evaluate for him because unless Russell Wilson gets hurt, knock on wood for you guys, he's going to be starting. Like, granted, can you have some packages out there where you have them both out there? Definitely. I definitely recommend that. Now, Madden dropped their trailer of him, returning kicks. Everybody was like, what the fuck is that? Like,
can you please give me your honest assessment? When you heard this news about Justin Fields being kickoff returner, did you think it was true?
I don't even think he believed it was true. Like, I saw something. He's like, wow, like, yeah, I don't think so. Like, this is the thing. Just because it's the same thing what they try to do with Lamar Jackson. Let's be honest. Any black athletic quarterback, any black athletic like former quarterback, they're like, okay, let's transition him to a different position. Like, why? You know what I'm saying? Like, why? They try to get Lamar Jackson to play receiver. Like, what are you going to have Justin Fields transition to running back? Like,
Jackson,
you can have him, it doesn't make sense.
Look. As a Steelers fan, I don't like Jackson. Not because of the way he runs or he plays, it's because of the color that he wears, right?
Of course.
And we also take care of him. The Steelers take care of Jackson all the time. It's the other freaking 31 teams that can't figure him out because their division, the Ravens will go 13-3 and they'll lose to us twice. 13-4 or whatnot. So that's something the other people got to figure out. TJ Watt's got his number, and like we've beaten the Ravens, I think 7-1 times, and Trubisky stuffed us up with that thing. But no, it is funny with the Fields thing. When I heard that news about because Warren made a comment, Jalen Warren, our running back, made a comment about Danny Smith. He's our team's coordinator. Said in a conversation with Cameron Hayward, said, "Oh yeah, they're going to put Justin Fields back there." The media picked that up and went, hang on a minute, really? And I'm like, dude, he's being sarcastic. Also, Danny Smith in that meeting would have been sarcastic. So
Yeah.
then Madden's playing the troll. You do not put your quarterback number 2 there, whoever it is back there, because if Russell Wilson goes down week 1 and he's
Oh
fielding
yeah.
kicks, and if Fields goes down, then you're back to our third quarterback, which is Kyle Allen. Nothing against Kyle Allen. I think he's been around the Bills and Vikings quite a few games here and there, Texans and whatnot. He's an okay quarterback. Haven't looked into him too much because I don't need to at the moment. But and Steel fans shouldn't have to. But seeing Fields back there, like for people saying it was serious, he's a quarterback.
Yeah.
He's 100 now. The question you had before is where even Steel fans. I don't think we know, dude.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson on a 1-year contract. Fields on a 1-year contract. Mike Tomlin will go. He will go with Russell Wilson to start. There is no controversy, but there will be competitive vibes. There has to be in sport. There needs to be. So Russell Wilson will be number 1. However, what happens next year, dude? I have no idea.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
That's why it's kind of like I said earlier, it's difficult because you want to use this year to evaluate Justin Fields, but he's not going to get a lot of playing time. So it's like, how are you really going to evaluate? And how is any team, even if you guys don't re-sign him, how are they going to say what his value is if they don't know how much to pay the guy? So he's going to get, he's not going to get a big contract. Let's put it like that. He's really not. And then as far as like I don't think he's going to be kickoff. I think that was just on some Madden stuff. But even with the new kickoff rules, we don't really know how teams are going to try to do things differently. So why would you risk that with your second string quarterback, potentially future quarterback? You just never know.
Thing is, you and I are thinking logically. We aren't thinking like the some of the Pittsburgh media, not all the media, because some of the media is really smart, but some of the Pittsburgh media is really silly. Or the NFL media, they just think with clickbait headlines, right?
Yeah,
that doesn't, they grab Justin Fields. And look, Justin Fields he could play some situations where he comes down to red zone or 30 yards out. Maybe you have Fields on the show as a wildcat, or maybe using a different quarterback, change it up. Maybe Wilson needs a break. I don't know. But you might use him in certain packages to get him out there. But I don't think I'd use him that much. Like they're going to go with Russell Wilson 100% till the wheels fall off. And I think he's fit enough to do so. But you are right in this point of like building a franchise. We honestly, it's very tough because you don't know what's going to happen with these two quarterbacks. Do they sign Russell Wilson to another extension? Obviously more money, and he's got this thing with Denver if he plays well, or do you go with a cheaper contract that might be Fields and he didn't play that much in 2024? So it's exciting times. Like for us, I think Kenny Pickett experiment was a failure. But in terms of Fields, I'm just excited that he has another chance. Now, I didn't think he was going to be on our team on my Steelers Nation Australia channel. I've got over 30 minutes of me saying it won't happen. So, and here we are. He needs a quarterback. So I got to root for him now. And I'm actually really going to do more talk about this in the future. But I'm just keen to see both the blokes playing in the training camp coming up. Throwing the ball around.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you guys got to figure out. But at the very least, though, at least you were able to move on from Kenny Pickett. Like a lot of teams, they would just hold on to a quarterback as long as possible. Like, we drafted this guy, this, that, and the third. We got to hold on to him. But, you saw a problem and you moved on to it. Now, granted, Russell and, Fields could both be stopgap quarterbacks for all we know. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see what happens at the end of the day. So that brings me to my next question, since we kind of are on the players. Give me your breakout player that for the 2024 season.
Man, that's a good question. Breakout player. It can be anyone on the roster. It doesn't have to be like a rookie or whatnot.
Anybody.
I want to breakout player. Well, it's not a TJ because he's already broken out, something like that. I'm going to probably say I think Calvin Austin might surprise some people if they use him correctly, because they haven't. And look, there's a whole thing around receiver number 2. I don't buy that too much. Not saying he has to be a receiver number 2, but I think he might break out in a certain way where he could get 50 receptions or 45. Maybe 700 yards, a few TDs, maybe some punt return things. I think he's been having a pretty good camp, Calvin Austin the third. So he could be a possibility. Even Pickens again, he might break out his own numbers. Like Pickens again might what he did last year and go again with a better quarterback. I think the offense is going to be different. You know what I'm hoping for though is, I know I've named 2 already, but I'm hoping for Darnell Washington.
Hmm.
because Arthur Smith knows how to use the tight ends. And yes, he's a bigger guy. He's 6'7" or something like that, maybe a bit more slower. But hopefully he has a chance to get. If you give that guy the football, all he's got to do is fall over 3 yards. When he gets tackled, half his body where his feet are moves down 3 yards.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
I'm hoping that him have a big year. Who do you think from an outsider perspective? Breakout.
I'm hearing a lot of chatter from an outside perspective about Jalen Warren. Like
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
because
he's up there.
yeah, because they're talking about it from this standpoint. He'll be splitting carries with Najee Harris, who Najee Harris has been very underwhelming. He's had a very underwhelming career. I've drafted him a couple times in fantasy, and he just absolutely screws me over every time. But they're talking about the way to be able to Jalen, switch things up. He's getting a lot of attention, especially as a third down back. So maybe he gets down as your breakout player. But Kenny Pickens. I mean George Pickens. Sorry, confusing those two. George Pickens definitely is a solid receiver in that division, and definitely a key weapon. You guys, you're gonna have to get somebody who's a number two. You're definitely gonna have a number two because George is gonna get JP is gonna get a lot of eyes on him.
Can we go back a bit because this is something we might
Yeah.
disagree on. With the Najee thing, you said he's been underwhelming. I think
Mm-hmm.
a lot of Steeler fans would. Okay, I'll say myself. I think that's not correct in a sense.
Okay.
With Najee Harris, yes, his longest run is like 42 yards,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's not the longest one. He's not. This is why him and Warren work so well. And one of the big debates I always have on my channel is Warren should be number one and Najee should be number two. I disagree with that. It's
Mm-hmm.
1A, 1B. Like they both this year should have highlights and get like 1,000 yards each. Najee Harris has had 1,000 yards
Every
per
year.
season average. I
Mm-hmm.
think he's like the 12th player to do so. And if he does it next year, I don't know what he is, but he's like the 12th player in history to do so, having 1,000 from his rookie year contract, something like that, right? So, yes, he doesn't have that breakaway speed, but he does invite like 8 players, 9 players in the box. Also, when he's hitting through a hole, he's pushing players off. He's like this the running bull. Like he's the bull getting all the players, hitting him, and he's yard after contact, stuff like that. Like he's a big bloke hitting them all. So he's taken on a lot of hits. So he does the dirty work, I think, for us in the AFC North, where you give him the football and he runs and gets you 3 or 4 yards. His average on one, just check now from ESPN, is 4.1. That was from last year. And his
Mm-hmm.
longest carry was 25 yards. From that sense, yes, I can see how he would be boring or not maybe the best back in the league. I'm not saying
Yeah.
he's the best back in the league, but for us, I think he does work though because he still runs into the pile, and I think he'll see better days with a new offensive line. He gets better,
Yeah.
and he can get us 4 or 5 yards, and he's pushing off 2 or 3 players too. Whereas Warren is the different bloke where
Yep.
he breaks to the outside and runs down the sideline against the Browns for 75 yards.
And you need
So
that.
I'm happy with both.
Yeah, you need that dynamic. You need that switch. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, running back. That's why running back by committees do so well. When you have two or three different guys that can do different things, like you say, Najee Harris is more of a north south runner. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The other guy is more like east to west type runner. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to have both of those. And Russell Wilson will benefit from having a better run game than he had in Denver. So we'll see what happens. But obviously, you want to talk about TJ Watt as you consider him a breakout player, but in this section we can just talk about like players that impactful players. Maybe I'll switch that to impactful players next stream. But TJ Watt is one of your best players. I know you could agree with that. What kind of year are you expecting from him?
The standard, really, 20
Mhm.
sacks. He's just got to stay healthy. He's now 27 years of age. I think he's fired, ready to go. Highsmith on the other side should help out too. I think he'll have a big year as well. But TJ is just a bloke that gets sacks, and when we don't have him on the field because he's our best player on the defense, I think our record is like 1-13 or 14
Damn,
or something
for
like
real?
that. It's
Mhm.
let me double check. It's something really bad.
Yeah.
It's like 1 Steelers without TJ Watt. I think it's 1 and something. I'll find out in a minute, but yeah, he
Yeah.
is the key piece to our defense, and I think he has a chance to. He's so close to breaking. Is it Michael Strahan's record, the sack record?
Yes.
Yeah, he should have broken
Hmm.
that too, by the way,
Hmm.
because he tackled Lamar, and the week after, the ref said that, oh yeah, we should have been a sack, and they didn't give it to him or something like that because apparently Lamar was a runner but the ball was fumbled from the snap. He picked it up. He wasn't counted as a quarterback. I was like, you're joking. He didn't get it.
Yeah. Well,
But
as
no,
a
he's going
Giants
off,
fan.
man. TJ Watt is, look, I know the NFL doesn't really I think the NFL doesn't highlight him as much because his player was highlighted a lot with JJ Watt. I
Yeah.
think
Oh,
I
yeah.
think a lot of players they look to the Parsons or the Garrett. Oh, man, I don't know how they gave Garrett the defensive player of the year. Yeah, he's got the what do they do? What's the
They,
pass
they,
rush attempts?
they gave Miles Garrett in the, I forget what network put it out, but the 100 top best players, they put Miles Garrett number 2 behind Patrick Mahomes. Miles Garrett is a game wrecker. Like, he's a good player, but TJ Watt is also a game wrecker as well. Like, definitely one of the best edge rushers in the game, and his presence is definitely felt when you're not there. I mean, when he's not playing. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and of
definitely
course,
your best player.
like I'm going to be biased as well, 100%, right? But I
Mhm.
think last year with the Miles Garrett situation, I think the Twitterverse and the NFL already said during the half season said this guy's going to be your defensive player of the year, and then he ended up being that. So just like it just fit the storyline. But I think TJ Watt without man, I looked it up now. TJ Watt is 1-10. We are 1-10 without TJ Watt. That's bad.
So you were
Like
close. Yeah,
that is a
that is bad.
problem right there. If
Yeah,
we don't have him, we're losing 10 games,
yeah.
almost 11 games.
Now, of course, there are other things that go into it throughout the course of the game. You
100%.
just never know. But he is a game wrecker. You know what I'm saying? He's a guy that, let's put it frankly, they game plan for him every week. If you don't, he's gonna destroy you. You know what I'm saying? It's as simple as that. Definitely your best player. All right, so the next segment I'm gonna ask you, give me your strengths and weaknesses of this Pittsburgh Steelers team.
Oh boy. Let's start with the weakness first.
Okay.
I think the weakness might be our offense identity because we don't know who it is just yet. And also weakness could be quarterback as well
That's a good
at the
point.
moment because we don't know what's going to happen. And I think receivers as well. We haven't got the strongest receiving room out there. Got Pickens, and then you got another few guys that are just like team blokes. Calvin Austin, like I mentioned, Van Jefferson. Then they don't really know after that. Roman Wilson is a rookie quarterback. He's untested. So receiver room, I think, is an easy answer, saying it's probably the weakest. What else would be the weakest? Maybe defensive line could be a possibility with our depth as well. We got Benton, Ogunjobi. He's injured often. Cameron Hayward is getting older in age, so maybe that's a weak area. And then maybe slot corner, but they brought back Cameron Sutton, and I'm not talking about the off-field things, but football sense. Cameron Sutton knows the team, so maybe those 3 areas could be weakest. Would you agree with those so far?
Yeah, I would agree with those. You pretty much nailed that spot on. So what would you say is the strength of this team?
Running game should be the strength,
Okay.
hopefully, because they want to run the football again. And if you've got the 1-2 punch of Najee and Warren, plus a built-up O-line, that should be a strength as well. I'd probably say middle linebacker with what they got there. Atlanta Roberts used to play for the Patriots. He won 2 Super Bowls with them. He's like one of our, I don't know if you remember a guy for the Steelers, Vince Williams. He's like that role where he just runs in and tackles and hits and he's all over the shop. He got 100 tackles last year. Plus Patrick Queen coming from the Ravens. Ravens fans are salty about that as well, which is really funny.
And I know you're a lot. I know you're happy about that.
Yeah, they're mad. Well, I think Patrick Queen's happy about that too because he's barking back. I think that's pretty stacked at middle linebacker for the first time in a long time since Shazier went down in 2017, I think it was, with his injury. I'd say outside linebacker. Linebacker in total, we've always had great linebackers in Steelers history. Cornerback, I'd say now JPJ. I think he's going to go off. I think he'll have a Pro Bowl year, and safety as well is going okay. Probably strong areas, but yeah, I'd probably say to have choose 2 of them. I'd say middle linebacker is going to be fun to watch with the linebackers in total and running game too. Like this offensive line should be bigger and better, hopefully.
Yeah, that's what I'm reading. You know what I'm saying, from Steelers Nation, that the offensive line should be revamped. That's why they're saying, that running back Jalen Warren might get some good touches. You know what I'm saying?
He will. He'll get like he's at the moment. Jalen Warren is one. I think he might be my favorite player because he's undrafted.
Yep.
He had a big year last year, over 700 yards, and he's now 1A 1B. Like they Steelers were using Le'Veon Bell for many years, just like one bloke at the running back position. Now they've got 2. So now they can give Najee 70% or 60% and then go with Warren. And they do that. If Najee ain't going, they'll play Warren. Vice versa.
Yeah. Hope nobody in my fantasy league is watching, but I'm going for Jalen Warren with the a sleeper pick. You know what I'm saying, as like a flex pick type stuff. So we'll see what happens with that. But like I said, the strength of your team is especially under Mike Tomlin, has always been defense. Defensively,
Mhm.
you guys have always set. Question marks on offense, obviously, like you had said with the you have actually made a good point too. The backtrack as far as defensive line depth, that's a good point because the starters are solid, but the depth, you need that as well to be successful. So that's a good
Do,
point that
do,
you
do
have
you know
brought
who
up.
they are? There's some of the depth. Do you know some of the players there? Do you know
The
any
depth
any of them?
pieces?
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Yeah. So even for me, like I know who they are, but for a refresher,
Hmm.
who we got? So it's Loudermilk, who hasn't done too much. Montravius Adams, he plays nose tackle, and DeMarvin Leal, and some other blokes there like Lee Logan was the rookie, Braden Fahoko from the Chargers. So these guys aren't star names, not at all. They're just like
Yeah.
plug and play guys. No offense to them, I can't play football, but in a star sense, they're just blokes, right? So they got to step up. Our D line rotation isn't as big as a not one of the hot pieces, but at the same time though they rely on the pass rush from Highsmith and TJ Watt from the outside.
Yeah, of
You know what I'm
course.
saying? Keanu
And
Benton's gonna
Hayward.
have a
Yeah.
great year. He's gonna play the defensive tackle position, and then Cameron Hayward next to him and Ogunjobi. He's been talked about not at all this season because he's like 1 year left or something on his contract. So he's a guy that was from the Bengals and played for the Browns too.
Yeah.
And he's okay, but he's just gets injured every now and then.
Yeah, defensive line depth is important because that's the one position where it's kind of like hockey. You do
Mm.
a lot of shift changes when it comes to that. Like guys swap in and out for like a player or two real quick, like more than any other position. So you definitely need that. And then, like I said, if your defense can come through, keep it close to the offense. The Steelers might find themselves back in the playoffs. You never know.
Hope so.
So, all right. So this goes down to my last question. Nice little segue for that. Give me your realistic expectations for the 2024 season and cap it off with what you think the record will be.
So you put the word in there, realistic. Realistic, I'd say 11 wins. I think we
11.
get one more win than last year
Okay.
somehow. So I think we go 11, and if Tomlin can get this team to 10-7 with a playoff wild card, then we can win one more game. Yes, we've got a tough schedule, 100%.
Hmm.
We've got, AFC North football from week 10, there's like 6 games, but they also got to play the Steelers too. People forget that. People
Yeah.
go, oh, we're going to play these teams. They have to play us too.
Yeah, of
Like,
course.
like don't just say they're the best team, they're 5-star, but they got to play us as well. So I'd say, realistically, I'd say 11-6. We lose 6, and we'd have a chance for the wild card, maybe possibly because I'm going to Pittsburgh, Steelers versus Chiefs. I've
Hmm.
got this idea: Steelers versus Ravens in 2016. When I was there, we won the division with Antonio Brown, catch over the goal line, right? I'm hoping that day in week 17, I believe it is versus Chiefs, Steelers versus Chiefs at home, we win the division. And the game after versus the Bengals doesn't mean anything. I'm hoping the Ravens are only on 10 or 11 or something like that, and we win the division. So I think, division this year will be a 12 team win or 11 team win. And I'm
Yeah.
hoping it's us. But I think we have a chance. Like, they got to improve. The O line's better. The defense is better with middle linebacker position. If guys are healthy, um, this team's better than last year, so they can hopefully get one more win. I'm not saying Super Bowl just yet, but I'd say 11 wins.
Yeah. That's gonna be tough. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, your division, like I said, is really really tough. You guys beat up on
Mm.
each other all the time. So I mean, I could see double digits. I could see that, especially with Russ. It really depends on what Russ you're gonna get, and it really depends on what kind of offensive scheme you guys are gonna run too. Because the Ravens are a good team. The Ravens are solid. Um, the Bengals, it really depends on Joe Burrow's health. Like that's the biggest thing when it comes to him. And then the Browns are ultra competitive as well. They have a solid team. But I could see you guys definitely double digits getting back to the playoffs. And that's nothing to sneeze at. That's a good solid season.
Yeah, obviously, excuse me. You always want to win, Super Bowl, right? But
Yeah.
I always go back to mini storylines. What's going on with Najee? Can we build this way? And in the last 2 years, Omar Khan's been building the O line. So you've got left tackle now, right tackle. They got the center, hopefully for the next 10 years, and Zach Frazier. So I would hope so that they can get 11 wins and a chance to win the division. And we went 5-1 the division last year. We played pretty good in our division. We normally go 3-3 or 4-2. You are right about the Bengals too. Like the Burrow, I can't stand them, but Burrow is, if he's injured, then that team's a bit like, oh, how you going? But also the Jake Browning guy, he played okay too.
Yeah.
It's going to be very tough. And in the last, that's why I think Hard Knocks did that, because Steelers in the AFC North, they play the last, I think, 6 games or 8 games. 8 games is 6 games in the AFC North.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So if we can win some of those games, and obviously they lose one, we win one, go up.
Yeah, of course. Oh yeah, absolutely. And like I said, the AFC is hard. It's a tough conference. It really is. So, but look, man, appreciate you for coming on. Like I said, been talking to you for the last couple of days. Definitely trying to get you to come on. Glad that you were able to. Glad we were able to make these the times work. My Giants versus your Steelers this year. So I would love to have you come back on. Yeah, I would love to have you come back on, because I'm going to be doing a segment throughout the year called Battle of the Giants, sort of like a game preview. So I would definitely love to have you come back on, and we'll talk about, that game going on. And yeah, it should be a good one. But tell the people where they can find you at, man.
So pretty much on YouTube all the time, Steelers Nation Australia. Record there pretty much every day. I'm on Twitter too, like at Steelers Oz. I just go there to get news and stuff like that. But YouTube is my main thing. Steelers Nation Australia. We're talking football. Yeah, every day, every second day, just like yourself. So I didn't know that. That's right. With week 8, is it, or week 9 versus Giants?
I don't remember exactly what it is. I have to look at the schedule.
Right.
But we do play the NFC. We do play the AFC North this year, which is why the Giants schedule is really tough.
That's tough.
Yeah, so you're gonna be.
Can you please smack every single one of them? Can you smack the Bengals, the Browns? Can you smack the Ravens too? It helps me out as well.
Yeah, I don't know about that. We'll see.
Who's your quarterback again? Danny Dimes? Still?
Daniel Jones, as of right now, it's a lot of stuff that's going to go on. Obviously, and then the Giants are on pretty much a Hard Knock off-season edition. This is like the first time that they're doing that. So they're going to push the Daniel Jones narrative really hard. I think he will come back, but it's all about, we have a lot of problems on our team, which, I'll save that for when I do a Giants behind the teams. But yeah, Daniel Jones should be on. I think he'll start week 1. I think from what I'm hearing, I think he'll start week 1. But we also picked up Drew Lock as a backup just in case he can't go. So
I just can't believe that run I saw a few years ago that he almost made it to the house and he fell over.
Oh yeah, well that's on his resume.
He ran like 80 yards, didn't he? Not 75 yards.
I tried to say he was too fast for his body type. That's what it is. Like, he was too fast and ended up tripping up, or either that or the turf monster got him. So that's about it. But yeah, that's how it is, man. But look, man, appreciate you for coming on, man. Thank you. And like I said, I'll definitely have you on the channel again, and make sure everybody go out there and subscribe to Steelers Nation Australia and hit that like button over there on this video. Appreciate you guys for watching. You guys are the best. Behind the Team Season 2 is in full effect. Got a couple other people coming on, so look out for that. But as always, thank you for tuning into the Ace Avenue. I am yours truly, the Ace. Adios. Cool, man. Appreciate you.
And that was heaps fun, dude.